Tonight on 8 out of 10 Cats Best of British Special. From Northern Ireland, Patrick Kielty. From Scotland, Kevin Bridges. And their team captain, John Locke. And facing them tonight, from England, Shappi Khorsandi. From Wales, Rhod Gilbert. And their team captain, Jason Manford. Now, welcome your host, Jimmy Carr.
Hello and welcome to 8 out of 10 Cats Best of British Special, a show all about the British. Did you know, for example, American research has suggested that all Englishmen are oppressed and uptight? When I read that, I was angry and upset, but I managed to hide it. There is a stereotype that suggests the most common crime in Wales is sheep shagging. Not the case. It's actually ram raiding. Newcastle is the only major city in the UK without a red light district, and I'll tell you why. No need. And if you're watching in Norfolk, hello. I'm not being patronising. I just thought I'd show you what a normal hand looks like. Let's get started. What are you talking about? That's the name of our first round. We've teamed up with a leading polling organisation and they've asked the nation who they think is the greatest living Briton. It's our panellists' job to guess the public's top 5 greatest Britons. Sean, Patrick, Kevin, you're to go first. Who's the greatest living Briton?
Susan Boyle.
People give Susan Boyle a hard time, but I think she's a good-looking fella.
I think she is.
They're doing a film of her life as well.
Are they?
Yeah, and I thought, how interesting is that? The first 40 years is just her feeding cats.
I think she'd be a perfect replacement for Michael Jackson at the O2. No, honestly, because now that, you know, Michael Jackson's cancelled, they've renamed the O2...
Cancelled? He died.
No,
he didn't phone up just for a second.
No.
By the way, I'm just about to die. I don't think I can do the show.
I can tell you, Susan Boyle, the public didn't vote for her.
No, but...
Have another guess.
Tim
Top 5.
Berners-Lee, the guy who created the internet.
If you invented the internet, it must be rubbish. There's no websites are out. Well, there's nothing to do on it. It's not even got cinema listings.
There's nothing to do on the website.
Not when you're the first person. It's like the bloke who invented the phone for the first time. Like, you know, Alexander Graham Bell. Who did he ring? How did he know it worked?
Surely, if you invent something, you can always invent another one to go with it.
What, invented 2?
I think he invented 2 phones at the same go.
Yeah.
So Jason...
Hello, it's me! I know!
So engaged, you idiot.
I can tell you, Tim Berners-Lee not voted in the top 50 Britons.
Oh.
On the computer theme, I just found out Stephen Hawking is British. I never knew that until last week. I could never place the accent, I suppose.
I read that he went to Stringfellows. He likes Stringfellows.
In 2003, Hawking reportedly visited Stringfellows.
That must be weird if you're in the booth next to him. And in the next one, you can just hear, play with your boobies. Your eyes are like the cosmos.
I think he's the perfect bloke to go for a pint with, though. WKD for me and a WD-40 for him. It's perfect.
Do you know what I would really like to see him on? I'd really like to see him on Mastermind, because he's so bright.
Mastermind? Have you not seen Robot Wars? He'd kill on that.
No!
Well, let's have a look and see whether Stephen Hawking is up there.
There he is.
Yes! Stephen Hawking was voted the greatest living Briton by the British public. Hawking's A Brief History of Time is a hugely successful book. Over 200 million people in 100 different countries have now read the first 2 pages. Perhaps his 2 most famous quotes are, "The total energy of the universe is exactly 0," and, "Warning, vehicle reversing." Right, other great living Britons, Jason's team.
It's got to be somebody else who's revered, like David Beckham, for example. Because he's one of those people who I always put together with Stephen Hawking. I always think... because everyone has... Look, you're giggling already because he's like... Everyone goes, oh, he's stupid, isn't he, David Beckham? You're like, well, that's not what he's famous for. He's famous for being brilliant at football. Nobody goes, oh, Stephen Hawking, he might be clever, but I'd piss on him in a race. You know what I mean? So...
Yeah, I don't think Stephen Hawking would sell as many underpants as David Beckham, would he? And the other thing about David Beckham is he always advertises foreign stuff, doesn't he? He always advertises, like, police sunglasses, Dolce & Gabbana. Why doesn't he do, like, Aunt Bessie's Yorkshire puddings? These are lovely. It's a bit like my Michael Jackson voice. These are Yorkshire puddings. You just take them out of the freezer and...
Sham on!
Yeah. Yeah.
I like seeing proper fat blokes with Beckham on the back of their England shirt. And then I like to run after him down the street going, David! David! David, can I get you? David, can I get you? Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry, I thought you were the real one.
He used to be a lovely-looking chap, but he's got too many tattoos, doesn't he? Look, he's going to need a contents page if he carries on like this. Presumably, they're all to remind him of the things he's not supposed to forget. He's got his son's names somewhere on his back or something. He's got forever by my side on his arm. It's presumably to remind him where to keep that.
Oh, well, I can tell you, David Beckham is not in the top 5. Great greatness. Yeah.
There you go.
Beckham recently branded a journalist a saddo. What kind of wally says saddo? Div. When he resigned as England captain, Beckham broke down in tears as he realised he'd have to spend more time with her. Another guest from Shortstein.
Jamie Oliver, is he there? Because he's good work for the schools. See, I feel sorry, because when I went to school in Glasgow, the highlight of the day was eating junk food at lunchtime. And I was always the kind of fat guy that would bring in a note to PE, like, please excuse Kevin from volleyball, he's fucked off to Greg's. So... what I'm saying is the guy's effort is pretty commendable, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, no, I think so.
I got really upset with those, as a mother, with those mums that went and fed fish and chips to their kids through the school gate. In sort of, what's the word? Rebellion.
Photo opportunity?
Because it was like, well... my kid's going to die of obesity. By the time he's 14, that'll learn that, Jamie Oliver.
But it is weird, because I've read, like, people were saying, oh, he's only doing it to become famous. Like, if that's a byproduct of doing something nice and good, then so be it, you know what I mean? If the bloke who invents the cure for cancer wants to name the cure after himself, no one's going to go, big-headed prick. You know what I mean?
Mumps. Do you know who discovered the mumps?
No.
Who?
Have a guess.
Dr. Mumps?
No. It was actually discovered by Dr. Gonorrhea. But he was saving his name for something a bit more serious. I can't waste my name on a little red lump. Something that rots the cock.
I can tell you, Jamie Oliver is not in the top 5. Ooh. Over the years, Jamie has helped popularise certain phrases, like pucker, lovely jubbly, and is there anything else on? Another guest, greatest living Briton.
Is Thatcher on there? Thatcher, milk snatcher. Which I think she got off remarkably lightly for. It's like having a go at Hitler for making the moustache a little less fashionable, isn't it? It's like saying, Hitler, now we can't have moustaches that are littler, that is. But I bet she's on there, that odious old toad.
I remember when I was a kid, we weren't allowed that soft, whippy ice cream because she invented it, apparently.
Margaret Thatcher invented...
You got the same Margaret Thatcher?
I'm telling you, her and Dr. Whippy, they got together and she invented soft, whippy ice cream. She was part of the team that discovered that.
Was this before she was Foreign Secretary?
That is real. That is real. Have a look. Google it when you get home. Look, that woman's not in. That woman's not in, and she's not mental.
Same thing happened in our house. At Christmas, we weren't allowed tinsel because Robert Mugabe invented tinsel.
It's true.
But she was voted in 3 times, so a lot of people back in the day must have liked her.
People say that, she had to do what she did, and that's why you got to admire her for that, because she had to do what she did. A dog's colon has to extract water from its faeces before it pushes it out through its anus, but I'm not going to buy a commemorative plate for that, either. Something you have to do. You don't have to admire her.
Let's have a look and see whether Margaret Thatcher was voted one of the greatest living Britons.
She's bound to be.
No,
She's bound to be.
surely not. No!
Incredibly, yes, the British public voted Thatcher the 4th greatest living Briton. Thatcher recently broke her arm in what doctors describe as a good start. Thatcher says she doesn't want her funeral to be a morbid affair, she wants it to be a celebration. Well, you won't be disappointed, love. It'll be like Mardi Gras, there'll be a conga. There's another guest, greatest living Briton. What do you think, Shappi?
Well, the Queen must be up there, surely.
If she doesn't win this poll, then this show is guilty of treason, isn't it?
Yeah.
The royal family apparently cost Britain 69 pence per person per year. Surely we could get somebody to do it a bit cheaper. Outsource, get some cowboy people in.
Get a call centre in India to do it.
She's pretty cool as well for her age. Like, Barack Obama gave her an iPod.
He gave her this lovely present, this really well thought out, like an iPod with loads of pictures of when she'd visited America and some music from Broadway musicals and stuff. And she gave him a picture of her and Philip. I've been in that situation where someone's come round with a gift and you've not got them out. You know, they give you something nice, you go, oh, well, I got you this remote control for our telly.
Well, let's have a look and see whether the Queen was voted one of the 5 greatest living Britons. She's in at number 2. Yes, the Queen was voted the 2nd greatest living Briton. The Queen is 80 years old, but she looks remarkably well for the most privileged woman in human history. Fingers on buzzers.
Cowell. We haven't said Cowell properly, have we?
Simon Cowell in The Greatest Britain.
Yeah.
He was voted 33 in the worst Britons, and his first 20 were serial killers.
Times have changed. You know, Britain's Got Talent is supposed to show us that any talentless dick can make it big, and he's an ambassador for that, isn't he?
Well, let's have a look and see whether Simon Cowell is one of the greatest living Britons.
No way. God, he is.
Yeah. Simon Cowell was voted the 5th greatest living Briton. Through his television work, Cowell has amassed a £200 million fortune. Throw in the profits from Leon Jackson's album, and he's never short of change either. Simon Cowell spends £500,000 every year on his own personal security. £500,000 on personal security. That is an incredible amount of money. Has Simon not considered being less of a We've got one more person to get. Fingers on buzzers. Oh, go on.
I'm going to go for the guy Banksy. Do you know the graffiti artist?
It can't be Banksy, though, can it? Because he's not British. Because Banksy, everyone knows, is Rolf Harris. It's Rolf. It's Rolf having a bit of fun.
He shouldn't be on it, because going around painting stuff on walls, some of the stuff he's done some really cruel, practical jokes. So, like on the West Bank, painting a ladder up the wall, he's taking the piss, isn't he? That's like when Terry Waite was handcuffed to a radiator, sneaking in the night and painting a little key just out of his reach.
I can tell you that Banksy was not in the top 5, but he was on the longer list. I personally prefer art that makes you think. Would a Labrador really try and bluff a Spaniel with a pair of 3s? OK, last person to get. I'll give you a clue, it's an author.
J.K. Rowling.
I always find it amazing with Harry Potter books that they're sort of acceptable for adults to read on the train or whatever, and I think, except when I do a bit of colouring, you know what I mean, a bit of colouring, people look at me like I'm mental.
Don't laugh, he doesn't go over the lines, he's very good.
My nephew is only 7. He came up to me and he goes, Shappi, can we play Harry Potter? And I said, of course we can, my darling. And I locked him in the cupboard under the stairs.
Didn't you say Dumbledore was gay?
Yeah.
I've seen the films and stuff, and you wouldn't, you don't know he's gay. He's not like he's mincing through the corridors like, oh, Harry, look at your massive wand. Oh, taste me. I'm going to go and order the next series of Queer as Folk off Amazon. See you later. Like...
What I think's impressive that she had the idea for Harry Potter on the train from Manchester to London. Now I've been on that train and I took one look around the carriage and the only idea I had was to get off at Preston and lie on the platform and punch myself to a pulp.
All this stuff about she was really poor and she had to write it on a napkin on a train, or she wrote stuff on a sick bag on a flight. So she can't afford paper. She can afford a bloody flight and a train, though, can't she? Oh, she's so poor, she had to write it on the back of her receipt for ski hire in St. Moritz.
Well, I can tell you you're absolutely right. J.K. Rowling is up there.
Yay.
Well done.
Yes, J.K. Rowling was voted the 3rd greatest living Briton. J.K. Rowling lives in Edinburgh with her husband, Dr. Neil Lucky. So that is our top 5 greatest living Britons. Of course, many great Britons are sadly deceased. Shakespeare wrote 38 plays, 154 sonnets and 2 long narrative poems. But can he do this? Lord Horatio Nelson only had 1 eye and 1 arm, hence the phrase, half Nelson. And Isambard Kingdom Brunel was the first man to lay a cable right the way across the Atlantic. Airline food is terrible, isn't it? So at the end of that round, I can tell you, Sean, Patrick and Kevin have 1 point. Jason, Rhod and Shappi are in the lead with 4 points. Hello and welcome back to our Best of British special. Our next round is Pick of the Polls. Sean, Patrick and Kevin, what do you like the look of?
Is that a fence? Let's go with the fence.
OK, you've chosen the country gate. Here's a clip to illustrate the question.
Every year, thousands of new singles are released in this country, and even the professional pop pundits find it difficult to predict just which is going to be the big chartbuster of them all. But what about this? It's all about aliens from another planet who find the ideal place to settle here on Earth.
Silently, they came to ground, left their ship and went to town, for they knew there was energy from aliens from outer space, needing help from the human race. They found the answer at Northampton. Northampton, Northampton, Northampton.
The weirdest thing about that is they put the words on the bottom in case you want to join in at home.
Your question is, what does the nation prefer, town or country?
Well, it's normally during, like, debates on the hunting ban that your allegiance really sort of shows itself, whether you're town or country.
See, I'm a big animal lover, so I'm going to go for town.
When you say I'm a big animal lover in that voice, I feel like I've gone to prison.
I'm actually from a small village. I'm from a small village in Ireland, but I live in Chelsea now, and it's quite tricky when, you know, you're from the country and then you turn up in the town, because the town's quite, you know, it's quite unfriendly. You know, you talk to people, like, well, I went to introduce myself to my neighbours in Chelsea, and they thought I was giving them a quote for tarmacking.
Like, if you're in the countryside and you ask someone directions, and you kind of are pretty sure about where you're going, but you think you just check. And it's a quick, is it up here then? And they should just go, yeah. But they don't, they stand for ages. And sometimes they walk you to where you want to go.
They get in the car.
They get in your car.
As well.
And
I'll get in, I'll show you. You're like, no.
Yeah, and it's like, fuck off, don't touch me.
Mentalist. This is a smart car. We'll be touching.
Sean, what do you think, town or country?
I like the tuntry.
Hey, Jason, what are you going for?
Town. Country, we'll go country.
You'll go country. Sean, you going?
Go for country. Country.
OK, you're going with the country. I can tell you 65% of people say they prefer the country.
There you go.
The countryside is great, unless you want to buy anything, go anywhere, do anything, or see anyone. Jason's team, what do you like the look of?
Ooh, is it London? Let's
You going to go for London?
Yeah, we're in London. It seems rude not to.
OK. You've chosen London. 66% of Londoners think their city is a good place to what?
Leave.
Is it a good place to visit Trafalgar Square?
Is it to sunbathe on a tiny bit of grass near a road? I always see that. Just people going, that's grass, that'll do.
You do see some people, you kind of go, that is a roundabout. There's no two ways about that.
Is it to find a cab driver who will only give you a lift if you live near him? I found that sometimes.
They've not got the idea of that thing.
It's like the only place in the world that you go, all right, mate, I'm just going to Kentish Town. They go, sorry, mate, I live out west. So you're only giving lifts to people on your street?
They have changed, though. Now that there's a recession, they sort of, even if you don't hail a cab, they sort of stop and drive really slowly past you going, lift, want to come in? Hey, lady.
You sure that's cab driving?
Is it a good place to have a night out? Because that's what you think as an outsider. You come to London, it's going to be quite exciting, the nightlife, the scene. And then, like, 2 in the morning, it's just the same as any other city in the UK. I was in a McDonald's in South London.
Oh, you've lived a life.
Party time. It's a Scottish name, McDonald, you know, eat your home cuisine. So I was and there's a guy in the queue at 2 in the morning, early, and he was having a lie down on the floor, right, 2 in the morning, in what I would deem to be the queue, right? And from what I could gather, the guy had pissed his pants. Right? He had shat himself, and he was in the process of being sick, right? The guy was having a tough time. You know, it was as if his insides got to that stage in the night when they went, right, that's it, we'll call it a day there, lads, you know. Find an orifice, we're leaving. And I thought, this is the London experience here on this. Is that a good place for a night out?
It's not a good place for a night out, but you paint a wonderful picture there. So 66% of Londoners think their city is a good place to what?
Meet the other 34%.
You're sort of on the right lines here. It's to do with meeting someone special.
A good place to fall in love.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah,
Get
good.
out.
66% of Londoners think their city is a good place to find love. The last relationship I had, I ruined by blurting out "I love you" too early, which gave away the fact I was hiding behind the curtains. So at the end of that round, it is 2 points to Sean's team and 6 points to Jason's team. Way out in front. And the winner is the name of our final round. Here is your first one. Most desirable place to live in the UK.
Country.
Cown. I'd like to live next to a landfill site, right? Because when you finish your dinner, you can just go to your back garden and just scrape it over the fence into the landfill.
Is it Alton Towers?
That's a good
How good
answer.
would that be? Just before all the queues got there, you could go on Rita as many times. Well, that's the ride, isn't it? But, you know, all the...
I'm going to say, and this isn't because I do the adverts on television, I'm entirely impartial, but I'm going to say Wales.
No. No, it isn't.
Northampton, middle of England.
I think it's either Cheddar, Wensleydale, or Stilton. But not Leicester, don't like that. No flavour.
Is it Cornwall?
Cornwall.
Cornwall is the right answer. They got it first. Yes, the most desirable place to live in the UK is Cornwall. Getting to Cornwall is easy. Straight down the M4, then the M5, then it's the A roads, then bam! 6 hours later, you're nearly there. Characteristic that most defines Brits.
Binge drinking. And also go into other people's countries and thinking that they quite like us binge drinking there. And then, while we binge drink in other people's countries, mistaking people not being able to understand English for them being deaf and stupid.
I tried to communicate through patio furniture. I just throw patio furniture across piazzas. And I hope that it lands in a way that suggests chicken salad.
Yeah, we drink for everything in this country. We drink to celebrate, we wet a baby's head, we toast friendships, we warm a flat.
Just bought a new spanner. Hey!
Oh, no, it just occurred to me that we haven't mentioned tea.
It's got to be tea, yeah.
It's got to be tea. Who was it that said they like tea more than sex?
Boy George
Boy
famously
George.
said, "I prefer tea to sex."
I prefer tea to sex. Yeah, well, if you're invited back to his house, so would I.
Is it negativity? We're very negative people, British people.
No.
We are very negative. Is it if British people landed on the moon, we wouldn't have put a flag up. We put a little sign up saying, "Caution, uneven surface." Like in China, they have fortune cookies. The equivalent in this country with a pie with a gas bill in it.
Is it building people up and then knocking them down? Susan Boyle went from being, you know, a sort of nondescript old woman to the greatest singer in the world and back again in the space of a week, and everybody was saying, oh, she's forgotten her roots and having a go at her, and just because she'd had a few wheelbarrow loads of hair removed from her head. And, you know, we clipped our dog's eyebrows the other week. It doesn't make him Elton John.
It's the most British thing. It's the thing that we talk about most.
Weather.
The weather.
Correct. Yes, the characteristic that most defines Brits is an obsession with the weather. Whenever we have a heat wave, old people are told to stay indoors, and that's because they don't look good in bikinis. This July, the pavements in London were hot enough to fry an egg on. Yeah, I'll have mine, dog shit side up. Well, that sound tells me it's the end of the round and the end of the show, which means the final scores are Sean, Patrick and Kevin have 3 points. Jason, Shappi and Rhod are the winners with 7 points. Thanks to all our panellists, our wonderful studio audience, and to all of you for watching at home. That's it from us. Good night.